We have a brand new class of federal employee called Schedule G. We could see a lot more people getting hired in or reclassified into this category, but will it streamline government and make it better, or will it make it worse? And what does it mean for you? Schedule G is a new employment classification for non-career federal employees, created by a recent executive order. According to the White House, these new Schedule G employees, they're going to be focused on policy forming or policy advocating type actions. So this is going to fill the gap from SES to Schedule C. It's going to be right there in the middle. These individuals will not require Senate confirmation, and their service will expire when the president leaves office. This is how I see it. PAS, which is presidential appointed, Senate confirmed, that's at the top. Then SES. Then the new Schedule G, and then Schedule C. So that's kind of how the hierarchy would be structured. That's how the pyramid would be built. And this would increase the number of political appointees that we have. Currently, we have over 4,000. So we're making the federal workforce a little bit larger by creating these positions, by hiring into these positions. Even though every effort that we have seen consistently is trying to make the federal workforce smaller. So as long as we have individuals that are loyal to the administration, then we can grow it by a certain extent. And another thing that you have to consider is when you look at other countries, look at Canada, look at the United Kingdom, they have like 100. They have fewer than 100 political appointees. And you might say, yeah, that's because the United States is larger. And that's true, but even if you consider the size of our country, we still are hiring like 10 times the amount of political appointees. The White House argues that Schedule G will make the government more responsive to the American taxpayer, that the president will be able to root out the deep state and corruption within the government by having people that are more loyal to him in these positions, in the positions where not only can they influence policy, but they can develop policy. So when you're talking about President Trump, loyalty is number one. If you recall, in an interview, he said, "I value loyalty above everything else, more than brains, more than drive, and more than energy." You and me can agree that loyalty is important. It's important when we're talking about loyalty to the Constitution, loyalty to laws and regulations, loyalty to the country. But what about loyalty to a politician? That is essentially what the President of the United States is. He is a politician that's temporarily occupying that office. So I think a lot of people get worried that when you're talking about the federal workforce being blindly loyal to the president, you can find yourself in a situation where loyalty is outweighing qualifications or merit. Critics say this new Schedule G classification is another misguided attempt by the administration to further politicize the federal workforce. So if you wanted to expand the political appointees, why not do it through Schedule C? Schedule C, those individuals are not Senate confirmed. Those individuals, they leave when the president leaves. A lot of times they can make between $100,000 and $200,000 a year. We have over 1,000 of them. There's no hard cap. Why not just make them Schedule C? Well, there's a few reasons. Number one, you need more authority and flexibility. Schedule G is targeting higher level roles, where Schedule C is more mid-level and lower level. Schedule G is actually doing the policy implementation. They're not just advising. Second is civil service reform goals. The Trump administration's ultimate goal is to make federal employment at will. That's what they want to do. Everything that we're seeing currently and in the past, it's all building up to that ultimate goal. That is what Schedule F was about. That is what policy and career category. It's about making individuals at will. We've seen it in 2016. We see it today, just this week, not too long ago. We could see over 50,000 federal employees see their civil service protections stripped away. Third is easier conversions. Schedule G can be used to reclassify workers who work in policy. That's what we heard with Schedule F, people that work in policy. And this This concept of giving positions, giving jobs to people that are more politically aligned with you, it's not a new concept. This is not a new idea. This goes back into the 1800s with the spoils system. Elected officials gave thousands of jobs to friends, donors, and party loyalists after each election. This lasted over 50 years. And maybe right now, today in 2025, we're starting to see a slow resurgence of this idea. So what makes it such a terrible idea? Don't you want people that are loyal to you? Wouldn't you like to hire your friends, friends, maybe some relatives, bring them all in? Well, there's a few problems with it. Number one, you get unqualified appointees, corruption, bribery, and instability in governance. You lose a lot of institutional knowledge because in just a few years, you have a new person that moves into the White House and they purge the existing workforce. Thousands of people are shown the door. So this is a disruption of government, a disruption of service. This is why the Pendleton Civil Service Reform Act came in 1883. This created the Civil Service Commission and it made it illegal to fire workers for political reasons. And it all really stemmed back to the assassination of President Garfield. There was a guy named Charles, and Charles thought he was owed something. He wrote a speech for the president, and he thought he made such a huge difference that he should get a high-level office. And he was ignored. He was rejected to the point where he was offended. He felt disrespected, taken advantage of, so he pulled out a pistol and he let President Garfield have it. He gave him 2 shots and then he died probably, 11 days later after that. So once that occurred, there was appetite in Congress. There was public outrage and Congress took action. And that is why we do not do the spoil system today. But it's not all doom and gloom. There are some people that are looking at Schedule G and they're saying, well, gee, this could be a good idea. New blood in policy roles, that could fix this. That could shake things up. But the question is, can you not have SESs now, senior executive service individuals, can you not have them do the policy work? Do we really need to hire thousands of people or reclassify thousands of people to get this done? Now, if you take a look at the executive order, it suggests that the VA is the first and primary agency to use Schedule G. But nowhere in this order does it say it's exclusive to the Veteran Affairs. It does seem like they're going to use the VA as a launch pad. Also, it says that the secretary shall not consider political affiliation or political activity in making appointments, which may be an attempt to balance political loyalty with the legal constraints. So then the question is, how can you assess somebody's loyalty to policy or loyalty to the administration if you do not consider where their political allegiances lie? So are you really going to hire a blue-blooded Democrat to run in one of these positions? I don't think so. I don't think anybody thinks that's what's going to happen. But it's worded here where they're not going to consider political affiliation. I find that incredibly hard to believe. If anything, they're going to target well-known conservatives or people where conservatives are endorsing them. They're saying, hey, they're fine. Either they worked on the campaign or somebody who knows somebody's cousin who worked on the campaign. Those are the individuals that you will probably see get recommended, get interviewed, and ultimately get hired here. So, in addition to this, over at the Department of Justice, we recently witnessed in a unit, they had 2/3 of their lawyers pick up and leave. They couldn't do it anymore. Their job was to defend the Trump administration against lawsuits. But if you're not tracking, this administration has over 400 lawsuits, and we're only starting the second term. And there's already a record number of lawsuits that far exceed anything that President Bush or President Obama or President Biden had. It far exceeds that. So if you want to know why that's happening, I want you to watch this video next. Stay updated by signing up to the free newsletter down below. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next one.